got an email from my accountant.
He's worried about you, Sanders.
All right, good morning, Gate City Rotary. Good morning, Gate City Rotary. All right, so for our invocation today, I know Ross was up first, but Marley did come in special for it, and we're not going to see her much more. So let's go with Marley for our invocation this morning.
That's right, I don't know if I'll be here next week.
That's right.
Thanks, Ross. I'm going to share with you, my grandfather had a grace book that he used every night, and somebody found one in a yard sale, a friend of his, and gave it to me, and he used to mark, you know, if somebody had a baptism or a wedding, he used to mark on the date when that happened. So it's a nice tradition that we have, and we started to mark it with things that happen in our family. So today is October 23rd. Countless are thy blessings, Lord. We have need to be thanking thee moment by moment for all thy goodness. We praise thee now for these table blessings and acknowledge that all our good cometh from thee. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the things we think they can do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, so Marley brings you as well. Let's see, Sergeant at Arms, right? It looks like you have Sergeant at Arms and birthdays and anniversaries today.
Yeah. We've got 42 members here today, and one visiting Rotarian, Steve Mackler from Guilford Club. And 3 guests. John Faulkner is a guest at Ashley Little.
I'd like to introduce John. This is John Faulkner. He's with Graham Personnel. Some of you may know Gary and Will Graham over there. And Sean and I had gone to the Synergy event where we were recruiting. I don't think the Synergy people, the young professionals at Synergy knew that we were recruiting for Rotary, but we met John, and Will and Graham, who we work for, are both involved in the Greensboro Club, so we're excited to have John here today.
Dan has Alex as a guest.
Alex, stand up. This is Alex Baum. Alex cooked at Pickstock. He and I have served on the COV board for a number of years. He is an attorney here in town with family law and immigration services. So please welcome Alex.
And Ron Midget has a guest.
I do. Ashley, stand up. Just on your eye. This is Ashley Furr. She is, I think she is, her title is Vice Pickle at Jenny's Pickles. And she was kind enough to bring us a basket for our fundraiser event. And she came this morning. I said, well, bring it this morning. I'll pick it up from you. And she didn't know that she was going to get brought in for breakfast. But anyway. Oh, she's going to speak to us in several weeks.
By the way, I made up the Greensboro a couple weeks ago. She and Jenny did an awesome job. I look forward to seeing it again.
And now I see Robbie's here. We have 43 in attendance. 44. And birthdays and anniversaries. Kevin Barth has a birthday on October 25th. The best pledge class to come through the club in a long time. Howard Driggers, Dale Hopkins, Brian Kaiser, and Eric Parker, 1 year celebrating tomorrow. All right. And then wedding anniversaries, Buster and Lisa on the 20th, celebrating 35 years. I was 3 months old when you got married. Mid and Doreen on the 19th. Ashley and George Wigglesworth on the 20th, 7 years.
So Ashley, hey Ashley, how your Oktoberfest dinner go?
Oh, that was a preliminary, just warming up.
Oh,
The
just
actual
warming up.
event for 2014 is in a few weeks, so I still have a little more time to get fitting into the journal again. Yes.
All right.
Pictures to come.
All right, well, this seems to be a really rough year for Rotarians in this club, so, I'm glad to see David Crabtree here with his back problems. We've got Randy here, but certainly keep Hal in your thoughts. Jonathan, it looks like Ann is starting to do much better, so glad to see that. So, yeah, keep really the whole club in your thoughts. Let's see, football pool. Walt, how did we do last week?
Big week in football, yeah, it was big. We're having a new award this week. I'm out of 0 bars. So it just so happens that somebody that was really great last week and got the 0 award this week. Guy, stand up, you're on the 0. The guy got 8 out of 23 correct.
Wow.
34% guy had. So instead of 0, we're going stud to dud. It's a half-eaten box of milk duds. Yeah, last week he got a candy bar, fancy candy bar from Cheryl David that she donated. Thanks for those, Cheryl. And so this week it was kind of, I don't know, maybe not as good, but still we're going to keep that sugar level up. Let's see. This week, actually you were close. Step up the game. All right. Chuck and Tony. Tony Hudemeyer, most improved, was 16 out of 23. Tony won the tiebreaker because he picked Green Bay over Carolina, so he wasn't really loyal to what he did. And the 0 to hero winner, Steve Brannon, was 18 out of 23, 78%. Wow. Right next to, Guy, next time maybe you should cheat off of it. The guy donated a Carolina blue towel, and this is not a crying towel, this is more of a blanket. Some of you may have heard the dirty rumors about Carolina's academics, and I'm sure that stuff's not true. Yeah. No way, it's not true. And there's some extra football pools, pass them towards the front. I didn't know everybody was in the front, okay, so any extras around, pass them over that way.
All right, so announcements. So Mike, I don't know where Mike ended up. So you want to say something about foundation dinner?
Still time to sign up, even though we put the press on last week. There's still another week to go. We've got about 350 folks that are going to be at the Corey Convention Center November the 6th, so we'd love to add you to our number. We'll have some special presentations. Erica will be one of them from our club, so I hope you'll be there to support her as she becomes a Bequest Society member. So please remember it's John Germ, who's the president and on the knee for Rotary International. It'll be a great evening. So.
And it's Erica's birthday.
Oh, it is?
To celebrate Erica's birthday.
See what we can do about it.
Yeah, 350 people will sing her happy birthday. Let's see, so, final countdown for fundraiser. You all know this is our one and only fundraiser, our one and only opportunity to raise money for the Gate City Rotary Foundation, for them, the grants that we do and all the good work we do in the community. So, let's see, I don't know who wants to go first. We got, I'm sure, Chris or Erica, you want to go first about tickets?
Yes, we still have just 1 or 2 tickets left. So if you've not got your ticket, there's a form going around now where you can sign up. You can either write me a check today or we can bill you. So please be sure to get your Party Maker Purpose tickets today.
Please, we'd love to see everybody there, all the members, all your spouses, your friends, relatives. Apparently dogs count.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
We have to give the final head count today, so this really, really, truly is the last day.
Yeah.
Are we meeting next Thursday?
We're not meeting next Thursday. May I jump in? I'm going to pass around. This is a sign up for volunteer spots at the event. Cheryl, would you just sort of send it around? We'll see if we can make it through the room. So we can staff it properly. Yes?
Final head counts today, what about for guests? Can they buy at the door? Do they need to buy tickets ahead of time?
If anybody's got a guest that they want, please let them know today and let me know, because it's giving the final head count to the caterer. So the answer is,
To encourage them to buy them?
yeah, we really need to cut it off today to get the right count for the caterer.
And if you need to do so after the meeting, you can send myself an email or Dan an email. We'll make sure that those tickets get accounted for.
Yeah, so just today is the day. And that, like I said, set the sign up for volunteering at the event. Nobody, please just take an hour somewhere through the event to help with the raffle or the auction or whatnot.
And I'm
We don't
not
want
sure
to cut
that
out.
includes, because last week Dale, asked that she wanted a couple people even earlier in the day to help with the decorations. What time do you need people, Dale?
Well, they said we could get in at 4, and so.
Okay, so the 4 o'clock is, on there.
Yeah, I think we'll be good if we just fill those slots. Chris, anything about the auction?
Not auction, but
Raffle,
raffle.
excuse me.
All right, guys, it's almost tax time. Almost tax time with the raffles. Not the April 15th variety, but you guys, whether you know it or not, you're all on the hook for $300 in raffle sales. Whether you sell them or not, you got to write a check for $300. So the smart money is to get me the 15 raffle tag tickets with at least your name on it. Now, we're not meeting next week, so if you're going to be at the event, great, bring your raffle tickets with you to the event, no problem. If you are not going to be at the event, I need to get your raffle tickets before the event. Otherwise, they're not going to be in the pot. So if you sell any more, or if you want the ones you haven't sold in the pot and you're just writing a check for them, bring them by my office. I'll shoot out another email today or tomorrow to the club, letting everybody know what the address is and what our hours are going to be. So if you guys need to drop those off over the next week, that's fine. It is not too late to sell. That link that we have, if you sell any ticket through that link, I will fulfill the order. You do not need to worry about it. You don't have to get the tickets in the people's hands. I will fulfill the order, all right? So the person orders it, I'll get a message, print something off, and I'll mail them or email them a scan of the ticket, and then you guys will get credit for it. So try to get those links out. How many left? Yeah, I mean, we've got probably as many as you guys could sell. I mean, I know I have 308 that, I can fulfill right away. And I know there's plenty out in the club that, I haven't received that. So there's more out there. So if anybody has a shortage and you want to sell more, there is availability.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
Do the online sales count towards our?
Yes, absolutely. And I know who everybody has sold to. There's no mysteries. And if there is a mystery, I will send a name out to the club and say, who's got this one. All right?
And when's the last day we need to let them know if we're going?
Well done. Ashley, did you want to say something about?
Just really quick, thank you so much to everyone who brought their auction items this morning. Is there anyone that's still waiting on auction items? Okay, Marley and Sarah, Marley assuming she doesn't give birth before Sunday, and Sarah and I are planning on going through those Sunday. If there's any way you can get them by tomorrow, feel free, or if you can't, then still just drop them by my office at DMJ, which is right across the street on the 2nd floor. If you don't have them, but ideally have them to me by tomorrow afternoon, so when we go through everything on Sunday, we can really do a good count. Do you have something to add?
I'll just say that, so if it's a large item or there's some reason you absolutely can't get it, if you could send us an email with a good description and a value of that item, very important, and who the donor is, so that we recognize the donor. That would be ideal. So if we could have, we would love to have the item because we're numbering them and labeling them and getting them ready. But you've got to get us an email with a really good description, who the donor is and the value, or else it won't get in the system.
Just a quick note, the big winner in the fancy Rotary pin was David Crabtree this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pawning this sucker, and the money's going to children of Vietnam.
So I promised Danny Farley next week it will be his if he's not wearing it again. Because he seems to have this theory that if he comes late, he won't get it. But he said he'll be his next week. Let's see. So $50. Hey, Buster.
Happy dollars, all right. We were talking about rotary pins and how. That's terrible. Yes, Cooper T.
Just for a Howell report, I went to talk Howell the other day, and he's in good spirits, and they're still trying to figure out what it is, but anyway, just want you to know to pray for him. And then the other thing worse than having a 40th year high school reunion is Buster had his 41st.
That was fun. Our class was so pitiful that we didn't have a 30th or a 40th.
We didn't.
And Cooper's class felt so sorry for us, they just said, oh my God.
My happy dollar is for James Pegram. My wife and I work regularly to go to Pickstock. He had a beautiful daughter, Lindsay, that got married up in Manor Elks. Beautiful wedding there at the Presbyterian Church on campus, and then an unbelievable reception. So there he is. But I want you to know he's got $2 left. If it's about what he did, you better be working for a long time.
Chip, I saw you had some money.
Oh, I did. Well, several people saw me come in with this firearm. And before we had some firearms at Pickstock, we forgot the poker. And as you saw, our rig was rather large. We needed something, so I grabbed that out of the truck. And Dan brought me some firearms, and unfortunately, we lost them. And we didn't know what happened. He kept emailing me that he wanted his firearms back. So I brought him this morning. He turned me down. It was not an even trade. So, fortunately,
Autocorrect.
the actual firearms from his living room were in.
Yeah.
We're under all that other crap that I hadn't unloaded from Pickstock, including Dale's hand truck. So the back room holds a lot of stuff. And Saturday night, anybody here who donated to or has interest in Women of the Mountain, we're going to have a showing of the first trailer of that movie, that documentary at our house. Never underestimate the power of free food and drink. Barbecue, beer and wine, start about 6 o'clock. I have no idea what time the trailer will come off. Rebecca will hit you up, okay? She's going to ask you for a donation if you come, but it's not required. And so I know a lot of people in here said that they had donated to help with whatnot. I don't know what happened with her emails, but she asked me to make an announcement today. KC Rotary's invited, so please come on out and join us and have some fun. Thank you.
Chris.
I think I heard it was Kevin Barth's birthday today. What birthdays were announced? I was in the neighborhood, Friendly Center the other day, and I just saw the Great Harvest Bread Company and thought about him and stopped in and talked to him. And if you guys get the chance to stop in and talk to him, really uplifting experience to hear how he and his family are coping with that unbelievable loss, and just how resilient they are. And I mean, it did me a lot more good than I'm sure it did him. So if you get over that way, be sure to stop in and say hey.
Bobby C.
Week before last, I went out to Arizona, and there's this big hole in the ground out there. I don't know if any of you ever seen it. It's like 23.5 miles across, and anyway, something I've always wanted to do. So I ran to the other side and came back in the wrong day. 47 miles and 20-some thousand feet. It was great.
That's something you don't hear very often. That's something I always wanted to do.
There's a big warning sign that this guy calling over, do not attempt to go to the bottom and back in the same day. So we didn't do that. We didn't run.
All right, I got $5, and I think we can get Bobby a car if everybody will kind of pitch in. We can fix this running problem. I just wanted to say, last Saturday, 2 weeks ago, was one of the best days I've ever had in Rotary. A lot of the other clubs talked about people showing up, but just like always, Gate City showed up. And it was such a super day. I was really busy. I didn't get to talk to everybody, but I really, you know, you always sort of get to know somebody else a little better. And Noah Slade and I had the best conversation, and I just enjoyed my time with her so very much. So I just want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you showing up and doing it. Thank you.
This past Sunday afternoon was Crop Walk, and I want to thank Jim Kennedy, Dan Quinn, and Dennis Marcotte, Tom Richards, and Steve Ports, and Mike Anders for their support. It was a great afternoon. I think it was a great turnout, and it was great to do it again. Appreciate your support. Thank you. Well, Buster, this won't probably happen again for a while, but here's a Rotary 20 happy dollar. Yesterday, all these, all the bling for the silent auction came together. I was out making some calls, and I just can't tell you the experience of pride I felt as I was talking to each of these business owners about, from my Rotary Club. And I told them, I said, I'll put in a Rotary happy dollar for you tomorrow. So Beth Kisserman from Smith Creek Diner, Greensboro Symphony Orchestra, Tribe Stage, the Christophers, the Undercurrent, and the Greensboro Children's Museum. And it was amazing talking to these folks. Some of these are investees of ours, some of these are just friends. Some want to come and talk with us sometime, but it was just a privilege to be out carrying the torch for Gate City Rotary. Wifey's doing really well. That's the other part of this. She went to physical therapy for the first time. It takes a while to get all these doctors to sign off on it. She came back, and what she told me kind of went in this year and came out the other year. She said, Mark says he thinks he can get me off my walker in 6 weeks. Well, I heard 6 months. So, people were asking, well, how's Ann doing? Well, Doc thinks, he can get her off the walker in 6 months. And, it's kind of like Norman Rockwell. So it made the rounds, and it got back to her. I had said, Mark Watson is going to break through physical therapy. He thinks he can get my wife off the walker in 6 months. So we had some explaining. But she is doing much, much better. Yeah.
Well, as it was said, I've just celebrated 25 years of happy marriage. 35 total, but 25. And Grandpappy Lewis, he always gave me great advice about how to stay happily married. He said, never forget to always and frequently use those 3 special words. Let's eat out.
All right, so our program today, I think, is Children of Vietnam, who we're thrilled to have, after Pig Stock. And I will say, I was talking to a member from Summit who told me, you all won the award that matters, because we raised the most money as a club, so we're proud to do that.
I'm going to introduce Nancy Letteri here. Nancy sent me her bio last night, which is hilarious because we've known each other for 10 years. We've traveled to Vietnam together. We've served on the board for 10 years together. I didn't need Nancy's bio. Nancy and I share adopted children from Vietnam. Let's see. We don't have the same adopted child from Vietnam. We both have children adopted from Vietnam. Nancy and I came into the COV board about 10 years ago as volunteers. We both later joined the board largely because of the charisma of Ben Wilson and the mission. And Nancy immediately jumped in and was at huge personal expense, was going back and forth to Vietnam, and we saw that on our board we had the perfect executive director. So we invited Nancy to be our executive director about 4 years ago. She was just back from Vietnam. I know she hated missing Pig Stock, but she really did have a good excuse. She was 12,000 miles away. She is one of the one of the real pleasures and the best part of having served on that board was Nancy Letteri, and I've just invited her to tell you guys about what you have been doing in Vietnam. So, sorry about the PowerPoint. It was just pictures of really beautiful children, so you guys can see that from me anytime. So, Nancy, it's all you.
I think I'm going to stand at the mic if I can.
Sure.
Let's see if I can get this to work.
Is it on? Okay, great. Yeah, so this just helps me. I'm a little nervous. You won't know because my voice is projected. So, Dan, thank you so much for your kind introduction. Dan's a real pleasure to serve with on our board, and we miss him tremendously. But I understand he's focused a little bit on this group called Gay City Rotary. So a good cause, and appreciate Dan very, very much. So I'm really pleased to be able to share with you a little bit about Children of Vietnam, our activities, and indeed the work that you have made possible. It's really a tremendous amount of opportunities that we've been able to do together as a joint team. I did have some photos of the work that we did on a PowerPoint, and what I'll do is I'll put this on a Dropbox and send it to Dan, and if you guys want to, he can send it out to you, and if you want to take a few minutes, it's not that long. It's not wordy, it's just pictures, but pictures tell 1,000 words, isn't that what they say? So take a moment if you have time in your busy day and just peruse through them. You'll see some really wonderful faces. We benefited from Gate City Rotary support, I believe, since 2009. And in addition to grants, many of you have donated individually, many of you have volunteered, many of you have attended some of our board events like auctions, some of you have attended the golf outing that Dan sponsors every year. Certainly, we had a resounding response to our Case for Girls Education campaign last spring, which was fabulously successful. And of course, pig stock. Yay! So I did a quick tally. I said, how much have we supported? Is there a dollar figure? I know there's children and faces and life stories, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But I just wanted to get a sense for a dollar figure. What funds have you helped us with, either through direct individual gifts or grants, or helping us meet matches so your gifts were doubled? And doing a very quick tally, not scientific, I have calculated that you donated and helped us receive over $70,000. Whoa. And that's a minimum, because it was a very quick tally, and I know if I really put some energy in it, I could have found out more, so I'm sure that's more, but at least 70. And so what is all that provided? I can tell you firsthand, those dollars are stretched far and long and are very impactful. Together, with Children of Vietnam, you've helped serve many, many vulnerable children who needed heart surgeries. These are life-saving surgeries. These are little people who've been born with some variation of a congenital heart defect. Their families are too poor to afford this surgery. So their lives are either very non-childlike, or potentially they won't survive through adulthood, and you made it possible. So really, really great. And I've met some of these children in the hospital after they've had their surgeries. They're just little folks, they're just little folks. And they've got this big old scar, but it's a scar of love. And they may not know you, but they do know that someone halfway across the world has made a difference in their lives. You've also helped us build a kindergarten in a rural part of Quang Nam province, and I mean rural. Our board member went to that, two of our board members went to the grand opening of this kindergarten you helped construct, and she told a long, long tale of curvy, bumpy, rutted, jungly-like roads. This community had no kindergarten, but it was one of their top priorities. It's like a one-room schoolhouse. It is adorable, but it's clean, it's neat, tile floor, big open windows, nice fans, a little kitchen for lunch or snack preparation, and indoor toilets. Indoor toilets, which is a rarity in Quang Nam province. And that kindergarten serves between 20 and 25 children a year, and that's for years to come. So that trickles down into the future. Every year those children have an age-appropriate, healthy, stable place to learn and grow and be happy. You've also been able to, through your generosity, helped us with clean water. Clean water is essential. It's basically at the bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy, and if you can't have clean water, you're going to be sick and you're not going to be able to get much farther than that. We together installed a system in a secondary school. It's a reverse osmosis machine. And the secondary school is up in a remote district of Quang Nam called Taeyeon. And I want to tell you it is remote. I have been up there. I've been up there in the rainy season, which I will never do again. The roads are winding around mountains, and they don't have any barrier, and they have mudslides. And I will tell you that we were sliding, I closed my eyes, and I said, no, if I'm going to die, I want to see it happen. So, it's really, really remote. The children stay at a residential school because the terrain is too difficult and too long for them to go and walk back and forth every day. So most of them are 5 days a week, and some local kids do walk. There's between 400 and 500 children. They were drinking water that was pumped out of a stream. Now, there are no toilets in this area, so what is the stream? The stream is basically their septic system. So this was not an acceptable situation. You've helped to remediate that. But even more so, now you've also helped. 3 kindergartens are in the remote areas surrounding that school. So the kindergarten teachers come, they fill their liter jar of water for the day, and they bring it to 3 kindergartens. In addition, the community was so excited to have clean water, they started coming, the neighborhood, people would walk for a mile to come and get fresh water. So what we've done, the school has done, is because this system has to be maintained, they said, okay, we want this to happen, but we need to maintain it. So they charge a 2,000 Vietnam dong fee for clean water for not the schools, but the households. 2,000 Vietnam dong is about 20 cents. So this is now creating a pool, so we have some long-term funds for yearly maintenance that are happening. So you've actually, in fact, impacted an entire community of households, kindergartens, and 400 to 500 children every year with clean water. Really, really fantastic. You also, interestingly enough, helped us purchase an incense machine. Why an incense machine? These are really interesting. They're like big metal contraptions. So if any of the ladies or men here have shops in their lives, so I have a woodworker in my life who I know. I have lots of equipment that shows up downstairs in the Underground Railroad. Like, what is that metal piece of thing doing? This big incense machine, and it makes long strips that are used for Buddhist prayers. And we've put this in a vocational training center for youth with disabilities. Mostly they're young men. They have some variation of disability. And, people with disabilities around the world, even here in the United States, have to deal with a lot of stigma. But it's definitely very strong in Vietnam, and they have a long way to go. So when you're training these young men to have a trade and have a business, you're giving them an opportunity to join the community as contributing members, valued members of their families. So we've purchased an incense machine, and we've got men going through this program, learning how to make incense, and then they will sell them. Amazing.
Sort of our version of Arc Barks.
Yeah. I think.
It's a similar industry here in Greensboro, dog biscuits.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, exactly, very similar. And then you have also helped young girls pave a path out of poverty by keeping the doors of education open. And you know about this through our Case for Girls campaign. I can tell you, these girls, formally, they're called Bright Scholars in the Bright Scholars Girls Club. Informally, we call them the Hoqui Girls because they live in a little community called Hoqui out in the rural district of Da Nang. I've known them since they were 6th grade. They're now 8th graders. They're turning into young ladies. They're still bashful. They don't talk very much and they look down and talk very quietly. But they're growing strong and they want to be doctors and nurses and policemen and just have thousands of dreams. And you're allowing them to make that happen. And we're going to support them with school scholarships, to pay all their school fees, uniforms. We'll support them with tutoring. This year in 8th grade is a huge year because 9th grade they have to take high school exams. If you do not pass those high school grades and with the exams with those 9th grade end of year grades with excellent grades, you really can't get into high school of any quality. So you can go to what's called a private high school, but you have to pay for it, and these girls are too poor to pay for it. Public high school is considered high quality. You want to get into the best school possible, and that's our goal. I'll share a short story. We had this big school scholarship ceremony while I was in Da Nang this month, and I got to meet the girls again. And one of the officials, it's a big deal. You have all these government officials and make speeches, and he made this speech that says, "We really hope that you girls continue to study hard. We want 70% of you to pass your exams, get into high school and university." 70%? So I nudged him, our country director, I said, "I don't think we're shooting for 70 grand." And she was like, "No, don't worry." So she got up afterwards and very politely and very gracefully renounced that 70% and told those girls, every single one of them, 100% are going to make it through high school and university. And that we were going to, any girls, we had about 7 girls who were kind of like a B- or C grade. Those girls were going to get extra tutoring, and the whole set of girls were going to get not just 3 sessions of tutoring, but 5 days a week. We're going to make sure every single one of them get into the best school possible. You've made that possible, and thank you. Actually, you've actually made possible COV to reach we reach about 30,000 children a year. And because of just your individual support, that you're making that happen through parasite remediation. We do a parasite program twice a year in a district called Pavan. I'm happy to tell you that has the lowest parasite infestation even in the urban centers. So you're making us happen. You're helping us provide school scholarships for over 600 children in addition to our Hope Creek girls. University scholarships, these are young people who have never live in dirt floors or cracked cement floors and leaky roofs, and they have by hook or crook through determination been able to get university entrance, but they have no money to go to college. We're supporting about 75 of these kids. Building houses, indoor toilets and sanitation, clean water, all of this is because of support that you're providing. I'd like to make a special call out to Dan. Dan and I he shared that we spent many years on the board together. And we invite all of our board members to come to Da Nang and see firsthand the families that we serve and the children we care about. They do this at their own expense, and Dan has done this many times. So he knows our organization very, very intimately. He knows each staff person, he knows many families that we've served. It's a tremendous sacrifice to put out your own bucks and take a week or 2 and come and drive all over the countryside with us, but it's very impactful. And it helps the staff know that they've got people halfway around the world, so he represents you as well. He also knows us so well that he helped us develop a 5-year strategic plan before he left our board. And in part of that plan, we developed core principles. And I'd like to share some of these with you. These are principles that The foundation of our organization started when Ben Wilson started the organization, and we decided we needed to formalize them and articulate them. So first is focus on the children. That's our goal. We get as close to the children as possible, like the Poquee girls, or even a little bit indirectly, but as powerful with our Empowering Women program for single moms, helping those moms run small businesses so that they can support their children and not feel pressure to either place their children in an orphanage or with another relative. Let's keep them in their families. We also, another core value is to work with local communities. This is represented when, for example, we work with the Katu ethnic minorities up in that remote district, Tayan, and we asked them, what's your highest priority? And they had two. One is kindergartens. They really want early education for their children, and clean water and sanitation. So that's what we're doing. We listen to the local communities and try and develop a solution together. We also like to leverage our work so that every dollar is stretched. This is represented in a partnership we have with Stop Hunger Now, which is a Raleigh-based organization that packs vitamin-fortified meals. Some of you may have participated in their events. Stop Hunger Now has been working with us since, I think, 2007. We are now delivering 4 million meals to rural kindergartens, poor people in hospitals, homeless shelters, orphanages, disabled centers, etc. Truly impactful. Again, I was out at a kindergarten that they serve this meals to, and these kids are, they are eating 4 bowls of this stuff. These are little people, and there's these bowls that are probably a cup and a half long. That's a lot of food if you think about 4 cups in a little belly. But it's really a very important meal in their lives. And we're going to ensure that there's no stunted growth, that they have the opportunity to grow up strong and healthy and able to serve their families and be happy. Lastly, we also operate with transparency, efficiency, and integrity as one of our highest goals and foundations for operations. We always have our books audited with an external auditor here. This organization is based in Winston-Salem. We also work with another nonprofit that finds professional financial experts from around the globe. By the way, if you work with any other international organization, I can share this. It's a fantastic group. So last year we had a CPA from the UK come and spend a month with us. And her task was to review our internal procedures in Da Nang and to help us be a little more efficient in what we're doing. So transparency and efficiency. It was a great experience. We learned a lot. And I'm happy to report that our CPA from the UK is now a donor. So if that's any statement, she knows our books very intimately. Working for children in Vietnam is personal. I started first as an adoptive parent and felt obliged to want to give back to the country that blessed me with my son. That's personal, but when you go to Vietnam, and it gets even more personal. It's personal when you meet a young 7th grader who was nominated by her family to greet us at her home. A home that had cracked cement and no windows, way out in the countryside. She met us in a neat but stained school uniform. Obviously it was a hand-me-down. In the back was a outdoor kitchen with leftover breakfast cooked over wood scraps and flies buzzing around it. And she put out her hand and she spoke in very careful, deliberate English. Welcome and thank you for coming. I don't know, it just breaks your heart when you look into the brown eyes of this young girl. It's personal when you meet a family that has 4 disabled children. The mother has, face with no expression. She's so worn out. The youngest son is handsome, but she has to hold him all day long or else he roams around and gets lost and could get hurt. It's personal when I look into the eyes of that young boy and I see his big smile and his broad face, his beautiful teeth, and I see my son, they're the same age. And I know that if that little young man had had early intervention, if he had, it's not rocket science, he would have had a far better outcome in his life. And I think of my son and say, my God, my son had so much more than this boy. That's personal. I'd like to invite each and every one of you to come to Da Nang. Join us. It's a great trip. It's hard. It's okay. It's, you know, it's a long airline flight. It's expensive. But once you get there, and we can take you on a tour, and we can show you and meet some of these families, a sense of gratitude for your own life, and a sense of appreciation for the dignity and strength of the people who are trying to do their best for their children grows, and it's truly a blessing. So on behalf of the children whose lives you've impacted and made better, on behalf of the staff in Da Nang, and on behalf of the Children of Vietnam Board of Directors, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for standing beside us and making a difference. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that inspiring presentation this morning. It makes me very proud to be a part of AC River. Would you please pull a ticket here and read the last three numbers? Yep.
It's 377.
377.
Yes, my guest, well done.